All right, let's get into the Fisher's Market Report. This one is all mine, so let's read through some of the data here. All right, the average rental price in Fishers for the month of March was at $2,332, which is up year over year, but pretty much flat month over month. Average days on market is at a pretty healthy 42. I like to see that as close to 30 as I can get, but 42 is certainly nothing to scoff at, especially if you were with a well-informed property management company. That is down 10% month over month, so that's good. Number of active homes, 115. So we've got more active homes in the Fishers area, which doesn't surprise me. I think we had a rush of investors trying to pick up properties before that rental cap came in, which, Mike, we didn't speak on that in the economic reports, and we should have, because I think we alluded to in the previous economic updates that was a potential for the state to shut down, and I think that has successfully passed.
It did pass. I thought we went over that a couple months last month.
Maybe we did. I remember us talking that it was a possibility, but it has successfully passed. I don't think that we covered that, but maybe we did. Okay. All right. So our average price per square foot is at $1.08, which is up almost 5% month over month, flat year over year. And now we're going to get into our apartments and townhomes and condos there in the second and third line. So our apartments average rents at $1,789 with 37 of those available. Average price per square foot at $1.55. Our condos, the average rate for those is at $2,175. Days on market, we've got 47 days on market and 20 of those currently active. $1.13 is your average price per square foot for those condos. Now, my favorite part of this entire report is getting into those graphs there at the bottom, so you can compare last year's data with this year's. And that first graph, the first thing that I like to see is our new line above our last year's line, and it is. So I would expect this year, man, when we first started reporting on these markets, right, the lines were all over, and now we're getting into it where they're like consistently matching last year's. They're over where they should be of last year's data. So it's really cool to see this. But in the middle line, the middle graph there, your average days on market, we're trending down as we get into the spring, approach the spring months, of course. I would continue to expect that to continue to trend down as we get closer to summer. The average number of active homes trend. We have a lot more homes in the Fishers area, a lot of construction, a lot of new investors in the Fishers area, but Fishers is a stellar market, which if you didn't catch our Indianapolis market report, and that'll exactly tell you why. My rant there about what new investors are really looking for and why Fishers is still actually a good market, right? Even with the rental cap no longer really being much of a consideration. Now you have your HOAs, which has always been a consideration that you have to watch for what HOA regulations are controlling, but that's nothing new. I think it's still a great market to pick up property, Mike.
I love the Fishers market. I think it's a great, safe market. If I'm an investor and I'm looking at this, wow, a 5% increase year over year in my average rental price, and in an environment where you're reading that rents are flat or going backwards in many cases in many areas. So yeah, I'm loving Fishers. It's a great area. It attracts really, really high quality renters. So I like Fishers.
Low vacancy rates, low turnover costs. All right, primarily driven by your amazing school system there in Fishers. Okay, all right, I'm not going to go down another rabbit hole. So let's move on to sales data if you're ready.
Yep.
All right, we've got our sales data for Fishers. Now, average sales price is at $378,402, which is ticking up just over 5% month over month. That's awesome. I mean, you're up almost 4.5% year over year. That's incredible. That's wonderful. Now, keep in mind, this is within our investor point of view. We do cap our information at $500,000 because we are investor focused. So most investors aren't dumping $500,000 or $600,000 into a new investment property. So we do cap it at the $500,000 price point. Average days on market is down 30. Man, properties are selling. Man, 42 days on the market here in Fishers. For a property that's currently on the market for sale. Number of homes sold. We have 81 homes. That's up almost 10%, 9.5% here month over month. Average price per square foot is at $196, which is up just over, almost 5.5% year over year. Average sales price. Now we get into the graphs, which I love, so we can see where we're ticking out. We're trending just above where we were in 2025. That's exactly what you want to see. And it appears that we are going to be trending up as we start to get into more of spring and closer to summer. So we'll see if that continues to to ring true. Number of homes sold exactly in that investor point of view, so you can see exactly what you should expect to spend should you be an investor interested in the Fishers market. Can you find a home for 300 to 350,000? The answer is yes. You can find 332 of those. And even cheaper than that. I mean, 250 to 300,000. You can find 93 of those. That's an incredible price range for the Fishers market. So, anything you got to add on this one, Mike?
I got a couple thoughts on this one. So to me, it's so important to, and we alluded to this just a little bit earlier in the Indy, but how different this submarket is from Indy. So Indy had 65 days on the market. This is 42. It's trending in the right direction. The number of homes sold is up month over month. The average sales price is up almost 5% from last year. Indy was kind of flat in terms of that. So it just goes to show how important it is to look at this data on a really, really micro level. So it's just really important to and emphasizes why we do this. We don't just give one number for all of Indianapolis. It can be really, really misleading. And it's so important as an investor that you really get granular when you're looking at this data. So that's one point. And then the other point is, I mentioned this on the economic update, but and I've mentioned this a couple times in the past, but I feel like Indianapolis in general has a unique proposition of blending both appreciation and cash flow, and this Fishers shows it perfectly. The average rent was up 5%, and the average sales price is up 4%. So, I mean, that's absolutely huge. And again, this is an environment where it's like really unstable, shaky around the nation. Nobody really knows what's going on. A lot of places, rents are going down, sales prices are going down. But here we have both going up ever so slightly in Fishers. So that's why I think the Indianapolis market is such a strong market. I think that's why you see it as the number one area for Zillow for 2026 is just a great, strong market. So anyway, sorry, I got a little excited there.
No, that's amazing. And pay attention to March's market reports that we're reporting on. And then let's see how the Iran war factors into any of this data. Should it factor in any way as we report next month's April data? I can't wait to see how those major world events happen to affect us here on the ground floor.